Hello, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Charlotte Ludolph, and I am the trauma-informed teacher. This is a channel all about teacher self-care and balancing work life and home life. So even if you're not a teacher, you might be interested in checking us out and subscribing to my channel so you can get all my tips for having a healthy work-life balance. Thanks for being here tonight. I have had a super busy couple of weeks. This is the first week of school, and my students are in bigger classes this year. We have decided to combine classes in order to have electives for students that are by student choice, which is great for the students, but it means a lot more challenges for teachers in managing the classroom environment and making sure that learning is happening. So I'm kind of tired. Tomorrow is our Friday, and I'm really glad that Friday is here. It's been a rough week back, especially with our 8th graders. We're just having some issues trying to get settled and get into the routine, but we will get there. We always do. We have to just figure it out sometimes. So I wanted to talk to you today about the topic of balancing your time and how teachers can manage their time and make decisions about what their priorities are in order to lead a more stress-free life. Teachers always have so much to do, and even if you're not a teacher and you're a working person that also has a family, you know that it's difficult to make decisions sometimes about what we need to value each day and what we need to make our priorities. So I'm going to show you how I do it. It's not the only way, but a lot of these ideas are based off of the 7 habits of highly effective people, and I will put the link to that information below, but it's also based off of some other things that I've just learned the hard way, and some other YouTubers that I have watched, including Michelle Emerson, who is a great organizational and time management person to follow as well. If you don't already follow Pocketful of Primary, I would recommend you do that. So I'm going to go ahead and get started, but I'm going to share my screen because I have kind of a little thought that I'm working on here, and I'm going to type things out as I talk to you so you can kind of see my thought process that I go through when I am deciding how I'm going to manage my time. All right, so this is my priorities list, and I will say to you that this changes frequently, and it changes every year. It changes throughout the year as my priorities shift and as they have to. There are some times in your life where you have to make certain things more of a priority than others, and they might not be your top priority, but at that time in your life, they have to be. One example of this is when you have a newborn. You know, your family is definitely one of the most important things for most people, but when you have a newborn, sometimes things get really out of balance, and they have to, just because that little person needs all of your time and attention at that time in their lives. So they can't do anything without you, you know, and you should be taking care of yourself, and you should be getting enough sleep, and you should be eating right, and, you know, just doing your self-care routines, like you're showering and getting ready every day. But when you have a newborn, an infant, especially, you know, in the first few months, the first 6 months, sometimes longer, you really do not get the sleep that you need, and you don't get the time that you need to take care of yourself. So that's just a short time, and people know that when they go into having a newborn. So the same applies to other things in your life. Like, for example, when you start a new job, you do not want your work to become everything in your life. You need to have balance in your life. However, when you start a new job, when you're learning a new career, say when I was a beginning teacher, I spent many, many, many hours in my classroom, way beyond what I should have, but I needed to do it at the time because I was learning a new skill. And then after I started to learn some things, I got more efficient and I could back off, and I had to reestablish my boundaries for my time. So I would say to you that this is going to change. And if you're a brand new teacher, this is going to look different than it does for me, but you have to decide what works for you. And you know when it's working for you if you feel at ease. If you do not feel at ease, then something's off. You need to reevaluate how you're doing things. Maybe you just need to reevaluate your expectations of yourself. Like, you might be expecting too much of yourself in some areas if one area is requiring a lot of time. So I'm going to go ahead and get into it, and we will talk a little bit about how that applies to my life right now. So my main 5 categories of priorities in my life right now would be my faith. I always try to put God at the center of everything. I'm not 100% successful, I'm human, but I always try to go back to that and ask myself if I'm putting God first, because in my life, when I spend time building up my spiritual walk, then everything else falls in line a lot better, and I make better decisions with my time and my priorities. So I have my faith, I have my health, because if I can't take care of myself, then I can't take care of other people. Right below that, I have my family, because once I have taken care of myself, then I can focus on other people. And then I have work, which is very, very important to me. Even though it's number 4 on my list, it's still extremely important to me. And sometimes my work has to take precedence over my family, depending on what's going on. Especially this year is kind of one of those years when I'm going to be doing a lot of work and spending a lot of time on my work, because I'm trying to save money for our daughter's wedding. So that's sort of like both family and work at the same time, right? Also, I'm working on improving my leadership skills. So it takes extra time for me to do things outside of my normal duties in order to be able to grow in my leadership abilities. So that's kind of like a big part of my life right now, and it has to be. But I know that there will come a point in time when I can back off a little bit of that, as I kind of get some things in place and as our daughter's wedding has passed and things like that. And lastly, basically, you could call this category fun, but I put in here travel and hobbies, other things that I do to just like have recreation and have enjoyment outside of my regular life. Now, I'm not saying that like if I had to make a decision about cutting something, that I would cut my fun and my travel and my hobbies, but I would definitely cut the amount of time that I spend on them in comparison to the amount of time that I spend on my health or, my work or my family. I have to have balance. I have to make sure that I'm doing some things every day that I enjoy, that are hobbies, that bring me joy. And I could probably even put that as a category in here as having joy, having fun. There are different things that make me feel joy. And I have to make sure that I'm including those, even if I can't spend as much time on them as I can on some other things. All right. So if I am breaking these things down, I would go into what that looks like for me. So what are some of the activities that are included in, prioritizing my faith? So I need to do daily Bible study. I need to do daily worship or listening and singing music that builds up my faith. Okay. Also, I need time to just be quiet and slow down. And that includes my prayer time. All right. So I also need weekly church time, and I need fellowship with other people that are of my same faith. So all of those things are included in the priority of faith. All right, so for my health, what does that look like right now? For me, that would include a healthy diet. So I have to make time for meal prep, grocery shopping, things like that, cooking, all of those things. And that would also include cleaning up, which is not the funnest part, but it's part of it. Because if I don't keep my kitchen clean, I'm not likely to have a healthy diet, because I'm not likely to feel like cooking. So it all goes together. All right. Also, that includes getting enough sleep, and quality sleep. So that includes a bedtime routine. It will make me feel restful. Let's see, what else? It also includes stress management, okay, which means being organized, which is part of that. It includes mindfulness activities, which is just like, some people, when you say meditating, they think that like it's like something like Zen or whatever, but you can meditate on scripture. There's different ways of meditating, but just like focusing and like breaking up some of the stressful things that I do. Let's see, what else? It has to do with exercise, which for me right now is pool workouts 1 to 2 times a week. It depends on how much time I have. It also includes walks. That's about all I can handle right now because I need knee surgery. So it also includes taking my fibromyalgia medication regularly because I'm not great at taking my medication, and seeing my doctors regularly when I need to, including my knee doctor that I'm getting ready to have knee surgery. It includes prioritizing my knee surgery over my work right now because I'm going to have to take some time off in order to have that done, but I need to have my knee replacement so I can be healthy. All right. Then for my family, it includes things like keeping my home neat and organized. It includes taking care of financial matters. It includes helping my spouse with things he needs. It includes checking in on my kids, which they're adults, so they don't need checked in on as much, but I still want to keep tabs with them. And this also includes date nights with Joe so that we can keep our relationship good. And it includes contacting my extended family, my mom, dad, sisters, etc. And then I have my work. So that includes activities like planning routines for my weekly lessons. It includes prepping the copies and materials. It includes cleaning up my classroom. And it includes making phone calls. And it includes after-school meetings and events. It also includes committees that I lead, so activities that would involve those things. Also, I need to also add in there my 31 business because I just recently became a 31 consultant to make a little extra money for my daughter's wedding. All right, and then my travel and my hobbies would just include things that bring me joy that I enjoy doing. So I have things like gardening, planning trips, trying to think what else. My YouTube is a hobby right now. It's not a business. Maybe one day it will be a business, but right now it's a hobby. Trying to think what other things bring me joy. Just decorating my house. And sometimes other projects that I come up with that I just feel like doing. Okay. So I've got all of these activities now. I'm not going to fit everything in every single day. So what I have to do is I have to decide what are my main things that are going to become part of my routine And when will I do them? How often will I do them? And then what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to make choices about what is an A, B, and C priority every day. So no matter what, I need to do this stuff every day. Daily Bible study, daily worship, quiet time and prayer time. I need to make some time to be quiet every day. These things are done less frequently, but are still a regular part of my routine. Then I have healthy diet is something I need to follow every day, or at least like 85, 90% of the time. There's most days I have cooking, but there's some days when I just don't feel like cooking. So I'm not going to make that an everyday thing, but obviously cleanup, keeping the kitchen clean is a regular everyday thing. And cooking is a semi-regular thing. So grocery shopping and meal prep happen like maybe like once a week. So cooking, I'm going to go ahead and make it highlighted just because even though it's like I don't do it every single night, I try to do it more often than not because I eat better when I cook my own food. Enough sleep and quality sleep in a bedtime routine definitely needs to be an everyday priority part of my routine. All of this needs to be an everyday part of my routine. My exercise right now being that I am, injured and I'm waiting for knee surgery. I'm doing that regularly, but I'm not doing it every single day. So like my walks, I might take a couple walks a week and 1 or 2 pool workouts a week. So like 4 days out of 7. My fibromyalgia medication, I need to do that every day. Then I have my family. I try to spend a little bit of time organizing and keeping my home neat every day. I need to do my financial matters like once a week, help my spouse a little bit every day in some way. And I try to check in on my kids like once a week. Date nights, that's like a couple times a month, and contact an extended family. My sisters, I try to check in on all the time, and then the rest of my family, I kind of check in on periodically as I have time. My planning routines and prepping copies and materials, these things I do every day. Planning, I do like mostly like Thursdays and Fridays, and then I prep every day. I need to do a little cleaning of my classroom, like straightening up every single day. Phone calls is as needed. After school meetings, certain days of the week. I have mostly Wednesdays, but sometimes other days. And then my 31 business is like 2 days a week, and then a day for planning. Travel and hobbies. Now, this is the stuff that I try to work on my social media every single day. And I try to do something that brings me joy every day, but I have a choice of what I do. So I'm just going to say something that brings me joy. That's an everyday thing. I have to have that, or I'm going to just not be a happy person. So it can be any one of these things, but I have to choose something every day that brings me joy. Okay, so now once you've done that, you have a really good idea of what's going to be the most important things and how often, and then you set a routine for yourself. So one thing that I really like that Michelle Emerson suggested is picking your top 3 to 5 things that you're going to focus on every day. So you have your routines, and your routines are not like your tasks for the day. Your routines are just those things that you get in the habit of. So first you have to establish your regular routine. Like for me, daily Bible study and listening to music happens all when I wake up in the morning. My quiet time usually happens in the evening when I get home. So, and sometimes I'll do some quiet time in the morning during my study, but usually I don't have time to do both during the school year. I have to do one in the morning, one in the evening. So I have specific times of day for those things. But then there are other things that that are tasks that go along with something that you need to do. For example, I need to grade some papers. That's going to be like if I have a stack of maybe essays or something or projects that I need to grade for science, then I need to put that on maybe my top 3 to 5 things list for the day. At the end of the day today, I want to have these done. So for tomorrow, I need to have entered some grades in the grade book just so parents have something to look at when they log in. So that's going to be one of my top things for tomorrow. I also need to make sure that I send home my syllabus because I want parents to be able to look over it over the weekend and send it back at the beginning of the week next week signed. So these are things that I can put down for my tasks for those days that are not my everyday routine, but it's part of my priorities. Now, when you have too many things going on, you're going to have to ask yourself, in the order of my priorities in my life right now, which one of these things would be A, B, and C. And I have kind of put my priorities here in an order. So if I have to make choices between my health and my work, I'm going to pick the thing that's for my health. And I'm going to have to tell someone no, and I'm going to have to learn how to be nice about it and communicate that I can't do that and why I can't do that. But the good thing is that I have chosen to put myself in a work environment where if I'm choosing between my work and my health, then the people that are over me don't want me to choose work. They want me to choose my health. So I actually had this conversation with my assistant principal today. She was talking to me about how I want to Zoom with my students when I take time off for my knee surgery. And she said, "Are you sure you want to do that?" And I'm like, yes, because I'm going to be out for like 6 weeks and I can't afford for my students to get that far behind because having a sub is not the same. Doesn't matter how great the sub is. Like I'm the one that's trained to do that job. I'm the one that knows how my class needs to run. I'm the one that's responsible for those students at the end of the year, what they have learned. And they only get one chance to be in that grade. So they're counting on me to be there for them. So I really do want to Zoom with them. I'm not going to Zoom with them all the time, the entire time that I'm gone. And I do have to get permission from my doctor and have that written into my, my requirements for what I am and am not allowed to do when I'm gone. But she was pointing out, you need to make sure that above everything else, you get better, that your knee heals the way that it needs to, and that you don't end up having to be off later because you pushed yourself too hard. So, it's important to think about like when you want to prioritize things in order to be in a less the least stressful environment that you can for yourself. You have to be careful like who you're working for. And that they have similar values as you do. So choosing to work in a school where you know that the people that are supervising you are going to appreciate that your family comes first and that your health comes first before work, and that you have a faith that you practice, that your decisions that you make are going to be based on that. And if that ever comes into like a clash between what they're asking you to do and what your faith is asking you to do, that you're going to pick your faith because that's your priority. When you work for people who understand that and who have some of the same values, then you're going to be happy. And it's amazing, like sometimes when you're just so busy, if you would just really look at what is really important to you and what really makes you feel like you're doing what you value, then if some of the other things don't get done, you're not going to be upset. The stress comes from trying to do everything when you don't have time to do everything and you're not doing anything well, and the priorities that you have are slipping away. So if you're feeling unbalanced, then you need to ask yourself, what priority do I have that I don't feel like I'm meeting right now? And you rebalance yourself by choosing to intentionally spend more time on that thing so that you can feel like you are succeeding in the areas that you find most important. So I hope this has helped you today. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. If you'd like to see more detailed content on how I do this in my everyday life, go ahead and place a comment in the comment box so that I know that you like to see more of these, and I will make more videos. Thank you so much for being here. I love you all. I hope you're having a great evening. As always, don't forget to work hard, be kind, and amazing things will happen. Have a great night.